afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's Travel Answers webinar. We're very excited to have you with us because today's conversation is really about something that can make a tremendous difference in the way we serve our clients. It's called destination expertise. Travel is constantly changing. We all know that. And today, in today's words, clients have more information available to them than ever before. But what they often need is someone who can take all that information and turn it into the right trip for them, right? And that's where Travel Answer really stands out because they will be able to help you. So with that, I'm very pleased to welcome John Gunning, Director of Key Accounts for Travel Answers. John, thank you so much for joining us today. We're very excited to learn more about Travel Answers, your destination expertise, and most importantly, how our advisors can use the expertise to create better experiences for their clients. John, I'll turn it over to you.
Marisabel, thank you very much. Thank you, Vacation Port, and thank you all for all the travel advisors that have been able to log in today and join us live. And for all those who may catch a recording later, thank you very much for clicking on and finding out a little bit more about Travel Answers. As Marisabel said, travel is changing and it's going to continue to change. And you want to ensure that you're working with partners who have, I guess, the finger on the pulse in regards to technological changes, but also you need to ensure that you have a destination specialist. So I'm going to walk you through what Travel Answers does, how we can work together, and give you a little bit of an insight into how we've changed over the last 35 years, the direction that we're heading, but also to show you the tools that Travel Answers has available that you can use and resource in your own time to make that booking for your clients moving forward. So it's an exciting time and we'll get straight into it.
And for those that have questions, please make sure to add them to the question box and I will be sharing them with John, okay?
Perfect. Thank you very much. So for us, we have been in business for about 35 years. And to put it all into perspective, it all started when a gentleman by the name of Kirk Demeter actually went down to New Zealand. And then he traveled around New Zealand, and then he traveled around Australia, and he came back to the US, and he went, those destinations are pretty good. I really enjoyed them. So he started selling long-haul travel to the South Pacific, Australia and New Zealand, about 35 years ago. Since then, over the last 35 years, we have grown. We've acquired certain other companies as well, but we've also branched out into the destinations that we now cover. So it all started in the South Pacific. About 15 years ago, we then went out and we started to sell Africa. About 10 years ago, we went out and started selling Asia. And then obviously for a lot of travel advisors, one of the biggest areas that you do sell time and time again is the latest area that we branched out into, and that being Europe. And with the expansion into Europe and our new technology, we've got this great strong footprint in regards to what we can sell and also service for your clients moving forward. Something I would like to point out is we have been doing this for about 35 years, and we do, book a number of different trips for you and your clients. But the one thing I want to sort of highlight is about 90% of what we do is customization. So that's building exactly what your clients want from start to finish. So that includes flights from the US, transfers once they arrive into destination, accommodation, and all of their activities. So we want to be the one-stop shop in regards to your clients traveling to any of the destinations that we service. Now, we do also have guided touring. So don't think that we only just do customization. We do have some guided touring that is set up that you can book into, similar to, I guess, like cruises where you jump on day 1 and you get off on day 20. We've got a number of different land packages that is set up for that. But I just want to remind everybody we've got a bit of both and we can help you with both of those. Now, we do also have group travel as well. So if you are looking at bringing a group together or looking at getting something organized for a group, our team is more than happy to help you out with that as well. And of course, we do understand for the North American market, pre and post cruise is huge. You know what I mean? Cruising is just a massive market anywhere around the world. And hey, American, Canadians, anybody who's joining us today knows People love to go on a good cruise. So we've also tapped into that so we can help you with your pre and post cruise arrangements as well. And of course, hey, if you have clients who just want to book some air, we're happy to help out with that as well. Now, that normally just means premium economy and business class and above. We're not saying we won't help with the economy, but as you can appreciate, for advisor ourselves, it makes sense for more premium economy and business class as well. So just let us know. With that all being said, there's two things I would really like you to take away from today's presentation. We're in business, which you are as a travel advisor as well. And first and foremost, we want to help you make the sale, because if you're making a sale, it makes our business grow, it makes your business grow, and it makes everybody in the travel industry a little bit happier because they're getting to go to a destination that they've requested. But also, just as importantly for us, we do want to ensure moving forward that we help turn your clients into ambassadors for you and your service. And I'll showcase that as we walk through today's presentation. So let's get into it and have a look at the destinations that we cover. As you can appreciate from what I've just touched on very quickly, we are a destination specialist that services long-haul travel havens or luxury havens, just depending on which destination that you're looking at. And I always like the word luxury, because what I think is luxury is completely different to the next person. And the reason I bring that up is
That's correct.
sleeping out underneath the stars in a swag with Uluru in the backdrop is completely different to going to Bora Bora and staying in an overwater bungalow. But we can do luxury on all level for your clients. So let's start in the South Pacific. As I mentioned, our company started with Australia and New Zealand. So for Australia, probably just a quick little overview. I mean, it's a big country. It's about the same size as the United States without Alaska. But you don't try to go to Australia and see it all in 2 weeks. And you don't try to do that for the US. What we normally find for Australia is that people will fly in and they'll fly and flop. And what do I mean by that? Is that they fly into a destination. Let's choose Sydney as a reference point. They flop there for 3 days. They might go to the Blue Mountains. They might go climb the bridge. They might see the Opera House. And then after 3 days, they fly somewhere else and flop. They might fly up to the Great Barrier Reef in the Cairns region, go up to the Daintree, the oldest rainforest on the planet. They may go out to the Great Barrier Reef. They may then fly out to the centre of Australia, flop out there for 2 to 3 days. And then, as you can see, continuing on to areas such as Adelaide, Melbourne, just depending on the distance and also the time that they have available. The other destinations that we obviously cover is New Zealand. Now, New Zealand's a little bit different. It's a little bit smaller, and New Zealand sets itself up very well for a self-drive itinerary. But it can also be done by moving from place to place. Whereas in Australia, you normally look at 3 to 4 nights in each place, then moving on. For New Zealand, you can do that in 1, 2, or 3 nights, and then moving on to the next destination. And we cover both the North Island, the South Island, and probably one of the biggest requests that we get for New Zealand. Can you do an itinerary that's based around Lord of the Rings? The answer to that is yes. So if you want to go and see where the hobbits sleep, we can make it happen. If you want to see where those famous movie shots were taken, we can make that happen. Of course, if you're looking for just pure luxury, relaxation, and kicking your feet up, we can take care of Tahiti for you as well. You know, the quintessential picture that I would say for most people of when they think of a vacation is that overwater bungalow in Bora Bora and diving into those aquamarine waters. And maybe even having a big Tahitian row up to your overwater bungalow early in the morning with a big conch shell in their mouth, blowing woo, which signifies that your fruit is on arrival and your breakfast will be served very shortly. We can take care of all of this for your clients. Of course, there's so many different destinations throughout the South Pacific. Areas that we haven't touched on is obviously Fiji, one of our great partners with Fiji Airways and Fiji Tourism. Great stopovers to these destinations, but Fiji itself is also a great standalone destination. And for anyone who has never heard of the Cook Islands, I encourage you to Google it after today's presentation. Check it out on Vacation Port, because Cook Islands is just that little piece of paradise that everybody goes, why didn't I know about this before? That's how special it is. Now, for all of our destinations, we want to ensure that you know that we can take care of your clients, and we want to give them elevated encounters. As I mentioned, we're long-haul travel. So we hope people come back to our destinations 3 to 4 to 5, 6 times. but we're realistic in the fact that they may only get to go to Australia once. So we want to make sure that when they go to the destination, in this case, Australia, they get to feed the kangaroos. They get that quintessential experience. We also want to ensure that they get the best out of everything that they do. Now, with that being said, hey, you may be looking at going to Africa. Now, Africa is a massive continent. You know, it has so many different countries. It's one of those places when people say, do you service Africa? My answer to that is yes, but there are certain areas in Africa that we specialize in. And the reason I mention that is the areas that you can see on the screen right now are the destinations that we get asked for probably 90% of the time when we are looking at an Africa itinerary. Now, if it's not on here, I always suggest reaching out to us, asking us, and it'll be a quick yes, we can help you, or a no, we won't. And the reason I touch on that is normally a first-time visitor to Africa will look at going to South Africa, flying into Cape Town, checking out Cape Town, going up to Table Mountain, maybe then going along the Winery Trail, checking out Kruger National Park, and then potentially flying over into Zimbabwe and seeing Victoria Falls. But we also do cover areas in the south, such as Namibia and also Botswana as well. And then when people think about the quintessential Africa experience, it's heading to East Africa and seeing the big five, you know, seeing the elephants, seeing the rhinos, seeing the lion. And that's looking at a place where the quintessential safari started in areas such as Kenya and Tanzania. And maybe adding on going to Zanzibar or climbing Mount Kilimanjaro. The great thing about East Africa, it gives you something that will stay with you for the rest of your life. What we also see with East Africa is a lot of people like to also include a trip into Rwanda or to Uganda to see the mountain gorillas. Now, as I mentioned, there's certain things that resonate and stay with you for your entire life. I was very fortunate to sit with the gorillas in Rwanda, and I can still remember it like it was yesterday when the little gorilla came up and touched me on the leg. It's one of those things that you never forget. And I think that's what Africa is all about as an entirety. So East Africa, we're looking at areas such as Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, and Uganda. And then we head up into North Africa in areas such as Morocco, Egypt, and also into the Middle East with areas such as Jordan, Dubai, and the likes as well. So we can take care of those areas as well. So I always suggest for any of our destinations, reach out to us and we'll give you a quick response whether or not we can help you with that destination. But the areas that I'm covering today are the ones that we see time and time again asked about in the North American market.
Well, John, what I like is that you have destinations within the destination. And sometimes the client even don't even know. They are thinking, for example, Africa, but they have no idea where they want to go. So this is great that the travel advisor have travel answers behind them, because
100%.
they can now offer different things and tell stories, like you're saying, that will make that client immerse into it and then consider that new destination that you're offering.
Yeah, 100%. And especially for Africa. I mean, obviously people have heard of Kenya and Tanzania, but people don't realize how many national parks, Ngorongoro Crater, Masai Mara, the Serengeti, these are names that people have heard, but there's so much more to it, Amboseli. But with that being said, you've also got to remember there is vast different distances between each of those. So how do we get you from destination to destination? Do you do a four-wheel drive? Do you do a flight between them? And the team at Travel Answers can make recommendations based on price, time, and also what your clients want to experience. Because the great thing about Africa, it is a little bit different to other destinations, but it is a destination that everyone sort of goes, wow, and always comes back and says, hey, that was money definitely well spent. And Africa is one of those destinations that we do see groups, but a group for Africa is a little bit different because it can start at 4, 5, 6, 7, and it really depends on how many people fit into that safari vehicle that you can see on the screen right now. So if you have potentially a group, that can be then based in and around the safari size vehicle. And the other thing about Africa is there's national parks, but then there's also conservancies. And what you need to reconsider about that is that determines how many people can go into the national park, how close you can get to the animals. And our team at Travel Answers can relay all that information and basically ensure that we can create an itinerary that is based around your needs and wants with, you know, slight pivots depending on what you've asked for. So yeah, Africa is magical. Of course, a destination and an area that we all know about, and every country in Asia is a little bit different. So we do service Asia, and I would go back 5 years ago, Thailand was everything. But I can tell you in the last 2 to 3 years, the most trending destination in Asia, and I would arguably say in our portfolio as a whole that people are asking about, is Japan. It is absolutely going wild at the moment. The amount of inquiry that I just see generally in the market, and then what we see come across our desk, Japan is trending. Now, Japan has a number of different islands, 4 main islands, and Honshu being the main one. And that's where we can book all of the destinations. But people are normally, for a first-time visitor to Japan, are looking at Tokyo, Hakone, Kyoto, if time allows, Osaka, maybe down to Hiroshima, into the center of the island, into Kanazawa and also Takayama. But hey, I've seen a lot of inquiry in the last week, just looking at people going skiing up in the northern parts in Hokkaido, up and around Sapporo and Niseko. I was lucky enough to snowboard up there myself. Some of the freshest powder anywhere in the world. So Japan is a destination that we are seeing growth in, and we're going to continue seeing that. We service all of Asia, but the destinations that we see the most people inquiring about is obviously Japan, Thailand. Thailand is just consistent. People love the beaches of Thailand, be it Phuket, Krabi, Koh Samui. They love the mountain areas and to the northern part of the traditional way of Thai life, with areas such as Chiang Rai and Chiang Mai. And then you can't go past Bangkok. I like to describe it as organized chaos. It's literally a place that you go in and it's just wild and things are going everywhere, but it works. It just works, and it's great. It's a bit of a stimulus overload. I guess it's a little bit like Vegas, if I had to give a bad
Similar.
conception in regards to those who haven't been there. There's just a lot going on. It's probably the easiest way to explain it. A destination that we do see a lot of people inquiring about, especially that fits in very well to the summer months here in the US, is Indonesia, but more specifically into the island of Bali. And what we do find with Bali is people are inquiring about doing a beach location, maybe somewhere like Nusa Dua, Seminyak, the list goes on, Legion, and then also going up into the highlands, up into the area, into the center of Bali, up to a place called Ubud. The other areas in Asia, obviously, we do see Cambodia a lot with Angkor Wat and the surrounding regions. But we also then do see a lot with Vietnam, and then we also see a lot in regards to pre and post cruise options, especially in Hong Kong and Singapore. And they also work very well in regards to maybe a stopover of 3 to 4 night pre or post stay there as well. So we've got all over Asia covered. Like I said, such a big portfolio, but these are the destinations that we get asked about. Southeast Asia gets grouped into Thailand, Vietnam, Laos, and that surrounding area. And as I touched on right at the start of today's presentation, our latest foray has been into Europe. Now, we do cover all of Europe, but we have really sort of positioned ourselves of these 5 major areas to start with. The reason being is they're the most popular. That's what we get asked about as much. But if you've got other destinations in Europe, please reach out to us. I read somewhere, and it sort of blew my mind, that if you go to Italy once, you then return there at least 9 times. Which blew my mind away. That's how special Italy is. That's how important and how much of a good time people have in Italy. Obviously, Spain and France pair very well together, relatively in regards to distance and being able to travel around by plane or train throughout the country. Spain, obviously, into Portugal there as well. And then United Kingdom in and around, England, Scotland, Wales, and Ireland as well. So our team can take care of all of this. And with our new booking platform, it also allows you to access all of these destinations as well. One thing that we like to do, and one tool that is very valuable to you as a travel advisor that we find works time and time again to help you get the sale, because we fully appreciate at Travel Answers that you can't know everything. We hope that you do know every destination inside out. However, that's why you've got us. The reason being is we have these checklists. And what we suggest, as soon as someone contacts you, as soon as they contact you, email you or phone you and say they want to go to a destination. In this case, you can see our checklist here. Let's choose Japan. As soon as they contact you for Japan, you might say, you won't say this to them. You may say, in a little voice in your head may say, I don't know a lot about Japan, but I know Travel Answers does Japan and they can help me out. So my response to the client when they reach out to you via phone or via email, my response is, Japan is an amazing destination. I think that you're going to love it. So let's get the ball rolling. What I'm going to do as soon as this call is finished, I'm going to send you a follow-up email. Attached to that follow-up email is a Japan checklist. Now, I'd like you to go through and tick off what you like, and then I'll be able to develop and create a quote for you. So once you capture that information, you're able to then send it over to our team at Travel Answers, and then we can build out an itinerary for you. The great thing about these checklists is that you are going back to your clients straight away, immediately, with something which showcases your expertise, but it also shows them that you have a partner that has got your support moving forward. So on the front side, you will see the checklist. On the back side of these checklists is where we capture all of the information. So your clients' names, how long they want to go for, the accommodation style, and also flights that they're looking for, and then our team can build it out for you as well. We find that it works an absolute treat, especially for a destination that you may not feel very confident with to start with. All of these checklists are on our website, and I'll show you where you can find them as we go through today's presentation. One of the great things is, and only as of the 1st of July, we actually released our new booking engine, our new booking platform. And our new booking platform has access to flights, hotels, resorts, and everywhere that we service, and much, much more as well. So our team has been using it for a period of time now, much longer than we've had it open to the general travel advisor community. But as from the 1st of April, as from the 1st of July, you can access the new system. So the new system, pretty straightforward. We can send you a link and you just register. And then once you've registered, you can just log in. Okay, it's pretty that straightforward. So the great thing about the new system, it has real-time availability. It allows you to create itineraries. So if you do know a destination, you can create a destination and build the itinerary out yourself, still getting paid your commission as normal. And then also, with that being said, you'll be able to send it out to your clients, realistically within about 15 minutes to 30 minutes, depending on the size of the itinerary. It's also automatically done for you, confirmed. It's got a dashboard on it, so it shows you all of your bookings and all of your quotes. And then also our team has got 24/7 support for your clients once they actually get in location moving forward. So that's just a little bit of a background on it. So we can get you registered. Happy to send you details so you can register, have a look at it, play around with it. You can't break it. I say that. Log in, start quoting, seeing what you can do, and get it out to your clients. Once you've been registered and you've been approved, you'll come to this page. And you'll see there that we've circled two things in orange, one being create your proposal and the other one being create your custom itinerary. They both do the same thing. Okay, what they will do is they'll take you to our booking platform. So you click on that. So there you can see you're now going to start to make a booking. Now what you need to do is that you add in new leads. So whatever you want to call this, you might want to call this trip to Australia, trip to New Zealand for Jane Doe, whatever the case may be. So you put whatever you want to put in there as a lead, just so you can track it. You'll then see, once you've done that, you can then add your clients' names. As you can see there, we just added Rod Roadshow and Rachel Roadshow. And you can also then choose how many people you want to be on the quote, and also the breakdown of their flights that can be added, where they'll be leaving from. And also you can see transfers are automatically added. Then you start to build out the itinerary. So you realistically type in where you want to go, how many days you want to go for, and it's all based on, hey, how much and how well you know a destination. And if you know it very well, you can build the own itinerary. If not, you can contact one of our destination specialists and they can build it out for you. But as you can see, you type in the areas that you want to go to. We're looking at 3 nights in Sydney, 4 nights in the northern beaches of the Cairns region. Put that in there. We then choose where we want to depart from, what date we're leaving on, how many people are traveling. So that can be changed to 2 rooms, 3 adults, whatever the case may be. You can also see there it says star rating. So what will happen is, once you put in this first couple of pages, it actually does develop its own quote for you, but you can then change it depending on what you want to see and do. So with that being said, all of your flights would then come up. You can choose the flights that you want. Once you have the flight options, it's all directly feeding into a GDS. So you're going to see all of the flights. In this instance, since this isn't a live website at this point, we'd chosen the Qantas flights from San Francisco down to Sydney, and then Cairns back to San Francisco, as you can see there. And this was entitled Trip to Australia. Once you've chosen your flights, you hit add flights, and then you're into the hotels. Now, the system automatically picks preferred hotels or recommended hotels. You'll see over here on the right-hand side in the orange, it says recommended. So we have a huge portfolio of hotels, but we do have recommended hotels that we've worked with for an extended period of time, depending on the destination. So we always suggest for a travel advisor to choose one of those, but we do fully understand you may have your own personal favorites in a destination. So no issue there. You can then do the drop down that you can see that I've circled there, modify options, and you can change hotel or look up a hotel that then fits your client's needs, and then you build it out and go from there. But we always suggest trying to choose a recommended hotel because they're the ones that we know and we've used for a number of years. So you can then make the changes to the hotel as you need to. Once you put the hotels in for each destination, you then start to build out the itinerary. So you're in Sydney for 3 nights. You're going to have 2 full days to tour around Sydney. So in this occasion, we'd be looking at doing maybe a bridge climb or maybe doing a Sydney Opera House tour. So you could click on that. And the great thing about the system is that the system actually picks up whether or not you could do another tour. So what I mean by that is you could choose a morning tour to do the bridge climb, and then in the afternoon, you could do a Sydney Opera House tour as well. So it works very, very well in regards to getting the most out of a destination. Yet again, coming back to, if you know the destination, you can book it yourself on the platform. If not, you can reach out to our team and then they can customize it for you based on the information that you've shared. As you can see, once you put the hotel, you put all the details in there, it automatically generates all the prices, and then you can hit save changes, and then you have an itinerary. So it's as simple as that in regards to setting up the booking platform. We will be having some actual training this Friday where I'll be doing it live. So you'll be able to access that as well. So if anyone's interested, I'll pass those details on moving forward. But what we want to share is once I've booked all of this, you can now got a custom quote ready to go.
Okay, I was going to ask about it because we have a question here. If once the advisor get access to the platform, can they do a practice itinerary with a like a pretending itinerary, even that includes
Yeah.
air?
Yeah. So once we give them access to the portal, they can play. Like I say, it's like a new toy. Play around with it. You can't break it. As long as you don't hit book and put the credit card in there, you can't do any damage.
You're
Because
good.
what happens, we've got a little of a backstop. So at the moment, as you go in there, you quote it all out, you have a look around, you play with it, you can send a quote to yourself. So as long as you don't hit book and put a credit card, nothing's going to happen. It only sends off all of the details once you put book and put the credit card in. So we're encouraging agents to go on there, register, play around with it, see how it works, because as you can imagine with any system and so many different variables, I can't show you everything on a practice or on a test or on training, because you will have different questions. The best thing is to go in there, play around, see if you can figure it out. If you can't, we're going to do the basic 101 training and get a little bit more advanced as we move forward. So we would encourage them to do that.
This is great because, like Patricia said, uh, then she can even grab that and send it to a client, start the inspiration there because it
Yeah,
will be
and
kind of a quote.
that's what we want you to do. If you know the destination, and at the same time, hey, we can't work 24/7 in regards to building quotes. We'd love to be able to, but your time frame may allow you to work 24/7 as an agent. And if you know the destination, you can quickly do this on a Saturday or a Sunday or early in the morning or late at night and get it sent off. The other good thing is that you can start building it, and then you can come to our team and see for some expert advice moving forward as well. So the best of both worlds, I would almost say.
John, when they sign up to the platform, are they going to be able to see there like upcoming webinars from you? Like you said, there's an upcoming one on Friday for training.
It won't. In regards to the training, that'll be on our website that they can access, and I'll show you where that is. In regards to once they log into the system, that's just going to be their details. So it's going to show their quotes, it's going to show you their leads, it's going to show you their client information. It's not going to be general information about webinars. It's going to be more about them and being intrinsically tied into the booking system. But I will show you where the links are so they can register as well.
Excellent. Thank you.
No problems. So what happens is, and once it's been developed and we've hit the save button, so all this you can do, what I'm showing you right now, you don't have to book. This will all be sent out to you. So we've just created the itinerary, 3 nights in Sydney, 4 nights in Cairns. As you can see, it was specially prepared by Test Demo Advisor. So our test team, or myself, when we were test running it or test driving it. And then this is how the itinerary comes. This will get sent to you. Once you hit that last button and save it, this will be in your inbox within 60 to 80 seconds, I find, on average. It's normally a little bit over a minute it takes to get there. So as you can see, once we've got you loaded into the system, and if you've also uploaded your logo, you'll see where it says your logo here. So it might be ABC Travel or 123 Travel, whatever the case may be. Your logo will automatically updated to there. First couple of pages just literally gives you checklist bullet points of what the itinerary is that you've booked. So you can see day 1, day 2, day 3. Day 2 was missed here, if anyone's wondering, because the international date line. That's what people all say to me, John, where's day 2? Well, day 2 we lost. We'll get it on the way back from Sydney. So no problems. So as you can see, it gives you a quick little overview, like sort of bullet points hitting you between the eyes, I'd like to say. But then as we get further into it, it gives you a breakdown of what you're going to see and do in each location. So as an example here, it gives you a bit of a history of Sydney. It then gives you an overview of the hotel and what you can expect at the hotel. It then breaks down the pricing summary once you go through all your activities and all of your hotels as well. Now, as you can see here, our owners actually came out and quoted, the quality of the quote really helps you get the sale. Being able to get a quote out and get it to your clients straight away is a game changer, especially if you're building it out yourself. If you've got off the phone and then within an hour you've sent them a quote, I can tell you what, they feel pretty special about it, and they realize they're booking with the right person, and we've got your back as well. So that's how the quote comes out. Now, when it's all said and done, obviously you got the quote, they put the credit card down, got payment, they're booked. Yes, we've got a sale. I love it. We then got our final documents. They then take it to the next level in regards to the documents. So the documents will have the final itinerary. We use New Zealand here as an example. It has all the local contact information. So I always point this out because if something goes wrong while they're in location, we always want them to reference this page because that'll put them in direct contact with our partners on the ground in Australia or New Zealand in this case. It also saves a travel advisor getting involved with the time difference unless it's an emergency. Of course, we always want them to contact the travel advisor if it's another level, but if it's just a change to a tour or a question on the tour, it's better to go to our team on the ground in location. So I always point that out in regards to the first page. As you get into the itinerary, as you can see, it paints the picture of what they're paid for, what they're going to see and do, has all of their confirmations, yet again, more detail of the destination itself, more detail of the hotels, and also in regards to the excursions that they will be participating in. And of course, what we want to do is that we want to turn all of your clients into ambassadors for you moving forward. And what do I mean by that? You want to have a call to action once they return from the trip. Okay, the reason being is they've spent $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 to go to New Zealand with you, the travel advisor. Okay, you want to be able to reach back out to them and say, hey, did you have a good time? Now, I can tell you if they went to New Zealand, they had a great time, you know. So what we do is that we suggest you reach out to them and saying, hey, I'd love you to send me your favorite picture from New Zealand. So they go, oh, that sounds good. Okay, so this is their favorite photo, standing at top of the mountain ranges, looking over the lake. But then what we do is we get you to send it to us, and then we put it on the front of the cover, and we send it back to you. The reason being, it's a great call to action in regards to saying, hey, John and Judy, I know you had a great time in New Zealand. This is just a little thing I want you to remember us by. Now, I tell you what normally happens is that people get this, and people I've learned, I've been alive for 40 plus years, but I've been up here in the States for about 12 plus years now. And there's certain things that people like talking about. One of them is children or grandchildren, and the other one's holidays. So I can tell you, they start sharing this with other people. And you know the great thing about this being shared around the family, to cousins, to friends and all that? Guess whose name's on it? The travel advisor. So when they say, oh, I'd love to go to New Zealand, can you help me? They can't help but to say, hey, Judy Sharp at ABC Travel was great and she booked my New Zealand trip. And all this does is take about 30 seconds at the end of the trip, reach back out to them saying, hey, Hope you had a great time in New Zealand. Can you send me your favorite photo? You send it over to us. Our team then just changes it out, sends it back, and I can tell you they'll feel pretty good about this when they receive it into their inbox.
Plus, it will encourage them to prepare for the next trip.
Exactly, 100%. It's a game changer. I mean, even just looking at that, putting a personal side to it makes me feel better than just seeing the generic shot, if that makes sense. Like, well, I could see myself there with my wife. I'm
Yeah,
sure my wife would appreciate going to New Zealand as well. So
that's very
all
clever,
good.
John.
So with that as well, as we touched on a little bit earlier, our website also has a number of different tools that you can access. It has all of our checklists on our website. It does have a number of different packages. Even though 90% of what we do is customization, the website does have packages on it. And the reason being is people want a rough idea of how much it's going to cost. Okay, so we do put them up there and show generally what people ask about and what they want to see and do. So if you have a chance, check out the website, www.travelanswersgroup.com. Now, of course, we're here today for Agent Port. Okay, we're very, very fortunate that we have got a number of different packages, ideas loaded up onto Agent Port. So I would encourage you today, travel advisors, to go onto Agent Port, log in. This is my little profile I've set up, as you can see there, John Gunning, Travel Answers. Everybody will have the same little introduction, search and book, destination, supplies, interests, spotlights, tools and apps. You'll be welcome back to this great site. What I'd love you to do is go in there and click on suppliers. So you can see suppliers there. So there's a plethora of great suppliers out there, but what I'd love you to do is to go and find Travel Answers and tick preferred. Okay, so if you do that, you're then going to put us up at the top of the list. And the great thing is we cover so many different destinations for you that you can quickly go in there and we realistically tick the boxes for all the destinations your clients may want to go to, and you can quickly access all of our data. Once you've clicked in there, start to have a little bit of a look around. You'll be able to see our phone number, our website, our YouTube, our affiliations, booking instructions, booking phone numbers, and as you can see on the left-hand side, various other tabs as well in regards to information, destination, interests, and offers. So you can click on any of those. In this instance, I chose interests. So then you can see packages that we have developed and uploaded onto Vacation Port that cover certain aspects of a trip. In this case, it's bringing up culinary and cooking, and then also gardens, foliage, and nature. So there's so many different packages on here that you can search and look for. Under the interest, as you can see, we have 11 different packages affiliated and associated onto the platform at this point in time. As we touched on, a number of different packages up there as well. So what we encourage you to do is check out the packages, compare them, have a look around, see the price point. And if you find a package and you go, well, that's it, I think they've got it 90% right, no problems at all. All you need to do is you contact Travel Answers and say, hey, I love the signature New Zealand up close guided tour, but what I'd like to do is add an extra 2 nights in Auckland at the start or the end to go over to a place I've heard great things about, Wahiki Island. So our team can then do that for you. No problems whatsoever. Okay, so we've got some great packages loaded up there that we can book straight into, but we can also look at slight customization on it as well. As you can see, covering all the destinations, New Zealand, Fiji, Liku Liku, Overwater Bungalow. I'll tell you what, that's pretty special. If anyone who's ever been to Fiji or seen any picture of Fiji, it's normally Liku Liku that's very much proudly displayed. I call it the postcard child of Fiji, so to speak.
I want to
Now,
add that before you continue, sorry to interrupt that. When you guys are looking at these packages, you can share them with your clients right away from there. You can send an email or you can even share in social media. Okay, so take advantage of that.
Yeah, and that's one of the biggest things that we found with Vacation Port. Thank you so much. Is that we're seeing this, that they say, hey, I just grabbed the package off Vacation Port, or I've seen it there, and they've come back and the agent goes, oh, okay, that's great. And the nice thing is it doesn't take any time whatsoever. So same as what we talked about earlier with the checklist, going onto Vacation Port and choosing a package and attaching it with the checklist is a great way to show your clients immediately that you've got their back and you're on the right track. You can send them a number of different packages and then they can have a look at them and make a decision based on, probably price, activities, but then also in regards to, exactly what they want to see and do in location. With that being said, this is just, I haven't actually told anyone this. This will be the first travel advisors that have heard this, is that we do have a new sales incentive, okay, for the next period of time. So any bookings that are made from next week, next Monday, it's starting next Monday, but I will honor it. If you make a booking between now and Monday, I'm actually going to honor it in advance for you, okay? If you make any bookings between now and October the 31st, and it's up to $25,000, you'll get your normal commission. Okay, we're a commission model, and all of our travel advisors, you'll be affiliated with a consortia, or you may be independent. We've got you all set up in our system, and I'm happy to have an individual conversation on commission on a case-by-case scenario as well. So don't panic about that. But we're going to give you additional money as well. For any booking up to $25,000, it's an extra $100 gift card. Any bookings over $25,000, it's an extra $250 gift card, which you may look at it and go, oh, that's a good size booking. It is, but all of our destinations are long haul. I can tell you, if you put business air into any of our destinations, you're going to get over $25,000 pretty quickly. And for any of our destinations, even if you're doing economy or premium economy and you're doing at least 5-night stay, you're going to start getting close to that $15,000 to $20,000 mark as well. All the terms and conditions are there, but realistically, hey, any bookings that has 5 nights accommodation in it between now and October the 31st that are booked to travel anytime before the end of the year, that's important. Anything gets booked now, but it has to travel before the end of the year to any of our destinations, will go into receive these gift cards. The one thing I want to highlight is that you, the travel advisor, benefit, but also our team. So if you're using our booking platform and you do it yourself, you still get the money. If you come to us and book through our destination specialist, guess what? We're going to pay you, and we're also going to pay our team member that's worked on it as well, because we want to make sure that both parties are being rewarded. So we leave that up to the discretion of the agent on which way they want to go, depending on how comfortable they know the destination. As you can say, all you need to do is mention book 26, and then you'll automatically be tagged to your booking to receive those funds moving forward. So we hope you can take advantage of it, still get your normal commission, but hey, who wouldn't want an extra $250 in their pocket moving forward? I think I read somewhere the other day, we're 19 Mondays away from Christmas. I can't believe it. So there you go. We're getting close anyway. So that's just a little bit of a sales incentive I hope you can take advantage of moving forward. Now, before I finish up, you've probably been wondering who's been talking to you, what you can see. There's our sales team. Okay, many of you will know Michael Brown. He handles a lot of our consortia accounts. Janie Hall works very closely with Michael on these consortias. I do a lot of little different things in and out in regards to the consortia partners. Jane Moore is the person that handles a lot of our emails, getting agents set up. She's like that beautiful duck, so graceful up top, but down bottom, her little feet are going crazy, getting everything organized. And Jeff had a bit of a pioneer. Jeff's been in the industry up here for 25 plus years. Jeff does probably the best webinars, I would argue, in market. Everybody knows Jeff from his great webinars and his participation throughout the markets and that as well. So that's all of our team. I put our generic email up there, sales team at travelanswersgroup.com. The reason being is that email goes to all 5 of us. So if I happen to be at a conference or an event, one of the other team will pick it up. Now, if you do want to email me directly, it's not a problem. All you need to do is put John.Gunning at travelanswersgroup.com, and that's the same for all of us. But realistically, you can do sales team and you can address it to John, Janie, Michael, or you can just say, hi, sales team, can you help me out? And go from there. So that's how you would get started. If you do have any questions, obviously I would encourage you to check us out on vacationport.com, making us a preferred partner. But if you have any questions moving forward, please let us know as well. And of course, hey, we wouldn't be here today without our great partners in Vacation Port. We thank you for everything you do. This has been absolutely sensational to be able to come on, talk to the travel advisor community, and get us set up on vacationport.com as well. Roosevelt, thank you very much. You've been an absolute treat. Let me know what we do now. Do we have questions?
Thank you, John. Well, I want to give our attendees a couple of minutes if they want to type some questions, so you can go and answer them. But I have a question myself.
Yeah.
Could you give me an example of a trip where the original request from the client uh, keep evolving into something completely different because of your destination expertise?
Yeah, no. What happens a lot is that a cruise. It seems to happen with cruising. I see this quite a lot. That they'll say, "Hey, I booked a cruise. It's going to Sydney. It starts in Sydney and finishes in Auckland, or vice versa." And then I'll say, "Hey, you're going all the way down to Sydney. You've only booked an extra 1 or 2 nights. Do you have any other time available?" They go, "Oh, I've always wanted to go to the Great Barrier Reef. I've always wanted to go to the center of Australia and see Uluru and to see the rest of Australia." So what happens is that we see what became generally just a pre or post actually turns into a full itinerary on the back of that cruise inquiry. The other thing is, as soon as we have an opportunity, and this works very well, and we find about 60 to 70% better conversion if we do a three-way conference call with you, the travel advisor, and your potential clients. The reason being is that we can have a chat to them in real time with you there, which allows you to learn a little bit more about the destination, as one of our destination specialists is speaking in depth about the destination. But it also shows your clients that the partner that you're using to book knows exactly what they're talking about. Because what happens a lot of the time in this day and age, we play a game of tennis where we email each other back and forth and we don't really get the answer, or there might be a little bit of a miss and match of what we're doing. Jumping on a three-way conference call and having a chat in real time with the clients and the agent so everybody's on the same page allows greater conversion. Like I said, we see we increase by about 60 to 70%. We also allow that the time from quoting stage goes from relatively large to smaller. The reason being is we're not having to change quotes a number of different times. And we can also be, I shouldn't say the bad guy, but we can say, hey, realistically, for a trip to Australia, New Zealand, Tahiti, this is how much it costs, so then the travel advisor doesn't have to say, no, you can't do that. We can say, hey, this is generally what it costs for 8, 10, 12, 16, whatever days it what may be, what I mean? And even being able to switch and sell a little bit in regards to saying, hey, Tahiti is an amazing destination. To reach your budget, what I suggest is on Moorea, we do a beautiful beach bungalow, and then we do the overwater bungalow at Bora Bora. So we can now get to the price point that you're looking at. So just being able to have a chat in real time with potential clients, with travel advisors, allows us to put it all in perspective, because we all know what we picture in our head, but then sometimes the reality has to hit as well into what can be achieved. And we want to be able to say, hey, we're going to give you a trip of a lifetime. This is what we can do based on budget, time, and various other variables as well. So we do see it changing all the time, because once they hear an accent, especially for Australia and New Zealand, they feel like, oh, that helps a lot. My background is I was a guide in Australia and New Zealand for 12 years. So I used to take guided tours around Australia and New Zealand. So I loved it. So now I'm on the other side. I used to be the one that delivered it, and now I'm selling it at the front end. So it's an
There you
interesting
go.
process.
So who knows better than you, right?
Well, there's probably people out there, but I feel
But
confident when I have a chat about Australia and New Zealand
correct. But
specifically.
in that call, uh,
Yeah.
it will help a lot. And I was going to say also, you during that call, you can even help the advisors, like because sometimes the clients want to do a lot of things in the destination, but they don't realize that the time frame that they're having might be just accommodating a couple of things, and you might go into that specific thing and maybe recommend a future trip for the rest of the things that they
Yeah.
need to do.
100%. Well, and that's one thing. I mean, we know AI is out there, and a lot of people will type something into ChatGPT, Gemini, or something equivalent, and we'll get an itinerary, and I'll look at it and I'll say, that's an amazing itinerary, but it's too aggressive, because every single thing has to go perfect in a 24-hour period for that to work. So let's step back from it. Let's take a few of the things that have been factored into this itinerary, and let me give you some expertise on why this works or why it doesn't work, or make some suggestions. So, hey, we know things are evolving, things are changing, but being able to put it in perspective, which is what our team can do, really does help as well.
And John, since we were talking about Australia, New Zealand, uh, what type of travelers would you say that are a good fit? for those destinations right
Yeah,
now?
we do see across the board for all those destinations. I mean, the biggest age that we deal with, I mean, is somewhere probably between about 45 and 75, normally couples. And we do see a lot of that. And because a lot of people, as they went through their working life here in the US, they didn't have time to take 2, 3, 4 weeks off and go to Australia and New Zealand. Because the common question we get from Australia and New Zealand, how long do I need? You know what I mean? There's no perfect answer, but generally speaking, for New Zealand, you need about a week on each island. That's just a quick overview. So you need 2 weeks in New Zealand. And for Australia, you normally would find people choose 4 destinations and stay 3 nights at each. And then when for international air, that becomes 2 weeks as well. You know what I mean? That's even the same case for Africa. You don't go to East Africa, Kenya, Tanzania, and think you're going to do it in a week. You mean you're going to stay
Mhm.
2 to 3 nights at the Masai Mara, 2 to 3 nights in the Serengeti, Amboseli. You know what I mean? And that's even the same for Asia. You know what I mean? You don't go to Japan for a week. Can you do it? Yes. Is it pretty aggressive? Yes. I mean, it's more inclined like, hey, 3 nights in Tokyo, 1 or 2 nights in Hakone, 2 to 3 nights in Kyoto, and then somewhere else that's of an interest. You know what I mean? That then quickly gets you to 2 weeks as well.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. That's important. And we talk a lot about selling experiences, right, for the advisors, uh, ra- rather than simply selling destinations. So, how does Travel Answers help the advisors move that conversation from where do you want to go to what do you want to experience?
Great. That's a great question because I mean it's always that funnel that they talk about, and people have an interest in a destination. And the question I often like to ask people is when I first have a conversation with them is, what do you like to do on a weekend? Okay. And the reason why I ask that is as soon as they tell you that, you can then pitch and pivot into the destination that you're servicing. The general one people will say is they might like wineries, they might like golf, they might like massage, they might like relaxation. So then I would then start pivoting that into, hey, in Australia, we have some of the best luxury lodges in the world. We have 12 world acclaimed golf courses that you'd be able to participate in. We have some of the best whitewater rafting. And then even to the same extent, if you move that to Africa, you know what I mean? Hey, we're going to look at staying at this lodge because they've got some of the best masseuse anywhere. So after a long game drive that you're going to remember for the rest of your life, you might have been, bumping around a little bit in the four-wheel drive vehicle. Hey, when we get you back to the camp tonight, we've set up this beautiful massage because that's why we've chosen this camp. So it's a point of difference in knowing the destination is to be able to sell that, and also putting the client in that situation. I mean, it's the old scenario, picture yourself here. Can you see yourself doing this, on the 17th tee at Royal Augusta or Royal Melbourne, I should say, in this case, because you're in Melbourne, needing a birdie on the second to last hole to beat your mate who's traveled halfway around the world so you could play some of the most famous sandbelt golf courses anywhere in the world. So it's painting the picture as opposed to saying, hey, it's a great destination. It's putting the client in location and giving a personal experience that they can relate to based on what they want to do as well. Because, packages that get loaded are great packages, but everybody has a little bit different of what they want to see and do. And that's why they come to us, and why 90% of our business is the customization. We sell packages a lot, but it is that slight tweak on the customization that gets them across the line.
Okay, and for an advisor that is listening today and they want to do their first travel answer proposal, uh, what are the first three things that they should do?
So depending on which way they're going to go. So if they're going to obviously use the booking platform for themselves, we just need to get you registered. That's not an issue at all. That'll take, realistically, once I get it, 60 seconds to approve. And we go from there, and then they can play around with it as much as they want. But the three things that, and it's probably an old adage, and it's probably across any booking, you know what I mean? How long do they want to go for? Do they have a potential budget? And what do they want to see and do? Do you know what I mean? Because as soon as we know that, if they tell us the budget or expected spend, we can then first of all say, okay, you need to look at traveling in this period of time, either low season, shoulder season, or peak season. Okay. So that allows us to pivot into any of those 3 times. in regards to what their price is. Now, if they give you a number that fits into any of those, great, we can move on to the next one. Then we need to know what activities they want to see and do. Now, if we know what activities they want to see and do, there is certain locations that might only be able to do that at certain times of the year. Victoria Falls, in full flood, or do they want to see it when it's a little bit dry? Most people want to see it when it's in full flood. So now you're having to pivot saying, hey, you need to travel in these months. You know what I mean? So, and for Australia, I give the example is half of Australia is tropical, half subtropical. So do you want to be in their summer or winter? And yet again, that's going to pivot based on the pricing point. And then obviously, as we touched on, the activities determines on what time of the year that they're going to go. But the big one is how long they want to go for, expected spend per person, and what they want to see and do. And then we can start developing an itinerary around that. But a lot of that you will discover organically, I find as well, by going on to vacationport.com and sharing those packages, because you will find there'll be a common element or a common thread. Especially if you share 3 or 4 of them, they'll normally come back with 2, and you'll see there's a common overlap of what's in those 2, and we can then work from there.
Yeah, they need to become teasers. Just send it to the client that you think they might like it, or at some point they say something related with thinking about traveling to that destination. Just send it, and follow up with a call or an email and say, hey, how do you like the itineraries that I send you? Uh, I could change this around if you have specific place days that you want to go. So just start with what John is saying, and you will see that you might get a client right away. You might not be expecting it, but you might have those clients. It's just that you need to poke them and bring it to them. Okay. John, thank you so much for joining us today and for giving our advisors such a great look at travel answers. I think that one of the biggest takeaways from today's conversation is that the advisors don't have to know everything about every destination themselves, but having the right destination expert like travel answers behind you, it will allow you to sell with greater confidence, and it will give your clients also a truly personalized experience. Okay, for those interested in getting started, make sure to use the email, go to the platform, join right away, and start looking at the itineraries. Thank you again for being with us today. We appreciate your time, and we hope you leave with some new ideas and inspirations for the next conversation you're going to have with your clients. Have a wonderful afternoon, everybody, and happy selling. Have a great day.
Bye all. Thank you very much.
Bye bye.